Welcome to myprojectbazaar.com. The project title is a Mac sensing protocol design for data transmission with more protection to primary users. Now going to explain the abstract. The main process in this paper is Mac protocol design, which is present in the Mac layer. Mac layer is nothing but the sublink layer of the data link layer. The major issue related with the Mac protocol's design is how the secondary users determine and when and which channel they should sense and access without causing any interference to the primary user. Now going to explain data flow diagram. The process starts with nodes deployment. After nodes are successfully created, you have to get the XI coordinates of the deployed nodes. After successfully getting the coordinates, we have to calculate the path between each nodes and have to assign bandwidth allocation to the all nodes present in the network. Then have to get the node ID for each user. After getting node ID, we have to check the primary user status. If primary user is on, we have to allocate more channel to primary user and less channel to secondary user. If primary user is idle, we have to allocate more channel to secondary user and less channel to primary user. In idle status also, the channel will be allocated to the primary user. So one of the main point to providing more secure to primary user. Another more secure point is the secure transmission will be available to the primary user only. In the sense of the transmission contents will be encrypted to the primary user. Now going to show the demo of the process. We are going to run the title page for the process and going to start the further process. Here have to give the number of users I want to install as a nodes, and by clicking get details we get the X and Y coordinate details. By clicking view we can view the node details which was created by us, and first of all get the node details and view and select the primary user and the receiver user, and forget that source and destination details, and calculate the distance between each nodes. And by clicking view button we can view the source and destination and distance between each and every nodes, and going to allocate the bandwidth portion to the each node details. First of all get the node details and allocate the bandwidth portion to the whole process. Now going to show the process between the users. Here we are considering one primary user, one secondary user and one access node and a receiver. Receiver is mainly used for the communication process. Here the primary user, first of all we have to select the node ID for each and every user. We select primary and receiver node ID in before process itself. So here we can just get from the database. Here the node 1 is selected as primary user, and we have to run the receiver form here. The receiver node ID is also selected before itself, so here we are getting from the database itself. So node 4 is selected as a receiver, so here still we have to select the node ID for access node and the secondary user. Just by clicking node we get the node details. We are selecting the node ID and we are inserting node 2 is selected as an access node, and we are going to run the secondary user form for selecting the node ID. So here by clicking node button we are going to update the node position as an tree for a secondary user. After that, for primary user we have to allocate the bandwidth based on the primary user status. By clicking this on off radio button, the primary user status is successfully updated. Here we can view the primary user status. If it's went to off means we can just get the current status of the primary user by clicking this button. Based on this bandwidth will be allocated. Now going to make the primary user an on condition and going to allocate the bandwidth. This is the main process of the access node, who is nothing but the service provider. So here we are considering 1052 MB. here 5 to MB will be allocated to primary user and 50 for secondary user and 50 for receiver. Now each and every user have to get the bandwidth details in their form. Now the primary user will get the details, and next we have to get the primary user status and the allocated bandwidth in the receiver form. Now going to show the communication between the primary user and the receiver and the secondary user and the receiver. So first of all we have to choose the file as a just text file now selected, and the files are splitted as a packets based on their allocated bandwidth as 3. And to get the splitted files, here by clicking we can get the files. Here we get the 3 packets based on the high allocated bandwidth. So first of all we have to encrypt the content to transmit. Now here typing the password and OK. Now the file is encrypted successfully, so we are going to transmit this content to this access node, because access node is act as a forwarder here. Now sending the details, and here going to receive the content. Sending and receiving port have to be the same. Now the access node going to forward this content to the receiver. So have to give the same port number, and finally here we are receiving the content. Afterward we are going to decrypt the content based on the entered password during the encryption. Now content is successfully decrypted. Now we show the secured transmission between the primary user and the receiver. Now going to show the secondary user transmission. For that I have to get the secondary user and have to choose the file to transmit as a packets based on their allocated bandwidth. Now the files are splitted in the length of 50 KB. The whole file splitted length details is as 28. So by splitted file button we get the 28 file contents. We have to choose the file contents as in order to send the packets format. Now selected, have to give the port number to transmit, have to send. The access node have to be receive this and have to forward this to receiver to give the same port number, and by clicking receive we receive the file content. For secondary user there is no secure transmission like encryption and decryption for their transmitting packets. And for evaluation here they are using based on the throughput and frame duration. By clicking evaluation button we get the performance evaluation graph based on the throughput between packet and the number of nodes.